The night in Makkah was unusually still, but beneath its silence, anger smoldered. The Quraysh, humiliated by the spread of Muhammad's message, had reached their limit. They had plotted in secret, agreeing at last to strike together, so that no single tribe bore the blame. Their plan was swift and brutal: to surround the Prophet's house and kill him at dawn. But the Lord of the heavens had his own plan. That night, while the assassins sharpened their swords, the Prophet prepared to leave the city he loved. Makkah was his birthplace, the home of the Kaaba, the place of his ancestors. Yet now it turned against him. Quietly, he stepped into the night, trusting in Allah, his heart free of fear. At his side was Abu Bakr al-Siddiq, his most loyal companion. The desert stretched before them, vast and silent, its sands glowing faintly beneath the moon. Above, the stars glittered like scattered jewels, as if bearing witness to the journey. Abu Bakr's heart pounded with worry. Every sound made him tense: the rustle of a bush, the cry of a night bird, the shifting of stones under their sandals. He imagined Quraysh discovering their absence, their trackers fanning out, their fury burning. Sometimes he walked ahead to guard the path, sometimes behind to watch their trail, sometimes beside the Prophet, as though to shield him from all sides. But the messenger of Allah walked calmly, his face serene, his steps steady. His certainty was a lantern that lit the darkness. When Abu Bakr whispered his fears that Quraysh would soon be upon them, the Prophet turned to him with gentle assurance. "Do not grieve, Abu Bakr. What do you think of two, when Allah is their third?" Those words sank deep into Abu Bakr's heart, anchoring him against a storm of his fears. At last, the dark outline of Mount Thawr rose before them, its rugged slopes a fortress in the night. Their climb was harsh. Rocks cut into their feet, gravel slipped beneath them, and the incline demanded strength from their weary bodies. Yet they pressed on, each step a plea for safety, each breath a prayer. At the mouth of a small cave near the summit, Abu Bakr entered first. He searched every corner, sealing the holes with cloth torn from his own garments, even pressing his body against one gap so nothing could enter. Only when he was certain it was safe did he invite the Prophet inside. The cave was narrow, its air cool and heavy with silence. The Prophet lay his blessed head upon Abu Bakr's lap and drifted into rest, while Abu Bakr sat awake, his eyes fixed upon the entrance, his heart a vigilant guard. That night, Quraysh discovered his absence. Fury erupted. They stormed his house, only to find Ali ibn Abi Talib lying in his bed. Their plans undone, they scoured the city, then the valleys, then the mountains. A reward of 100 camels was promised for the Prophet's capture, dead or alive. Greed joined rage, and soon the desert swarmed with hunters. By morning, their voices and footsteps echoed dangerously close. Abu Bakr's chest tightened as he heard them climbing the mountain, their sandals scraping stone. His whispers trembled. "O Messenger of Allah, if one of them bends down and looks beneath his feet, he will see us." The Prophet raised his gaze, calm and steady, and replied, "Do not be afraid, Abu Bakr. Allah is with us." At the cave's mouth, the miracle unfolded. A tiny spider spun its web across the entrance, weaving delicate threads into a shield. Above it, a bird settled into its nest eggs, tucked safely beneath it. When Quraysh's trackers arrived, they paused. One pointed toward the cave. "Perhaps they hide here." But another shook his head. "Impossible. Look at the web, it is unbroken, and the bird sits undisturbed. No man has entered here." And so, they turned away, walking past the very place where the Prophet and his companions sat hidden. Abu Bakr wept silently, his heart overwhelmed. "O Messenger of Allah," he whispered, "Allah has shielded us with the weakest of his creation." The Prophet smiled gently. "Do you see? Abu Bakr, Allah does not need armies to protect his servants. Even the thread of a spider, if Allah wills it, is stronger than iron. The days inside the cave stretched long, each hour heavy with silence. The cave was no palace, walls were rough, its air still and cool, its entrance narrow. Yet for 3 nights it became the sanctuary of Allah's messenger and his companion. Abu Bakr hardly slept. Every distant shout, every echo of footsteps below, tightened his chest. At times, the voices of Quraysh's hunters drifted up the mountain, so close that he feared the sound of his own heartbeat might betray them. He leaned forward, straining to hear, always ready to shield the prophet with his life. But the messenger of Allah remained calm. His trust in Allah was like a mountain unshaken, immovable. When Abu Bakr's worry spilled out in whispers, the prophet would reassure him, "Do not fear. Abu Bakr, Allah has not abandoned us. This journey is by his command, and his help is near." Outside the cave, the search raged on. Quraysh sent their finest trackers, men who could read the desert like a scroll. They followed broken twigs, shifted stones, faint prints in the sand. Some pointed directly toward Mount Thawr. "The trail leads here," they insisted. Up the mountain they climbed, swords gleaming, their breath hard with determination. When they reached the cave, their shadows stretched across its mouth. Abu Bakr's heart raced. He imagined their eyes piercing the darkness, their blades flashing. Yet again, Allah shielded them. The spider's web remained unbroken, delicate threads shining in the sun. The bird, calm in its nest, preened its feathers. The hunters paused. If they had entered, one said, the web would not be whole. The bird would not be here. Let us search elsewhere. And with that, they descended, leaving the fugitives hidden by the simplest of signs. Inside, Abu Bakr lowered his head, tears slipping down his cheeks. The prophet turned to him gently. "Abu Bakr," he said, "when Allah is your protector, even the strongest enemy cannot harm you. Do you not see? The weakest of his creation has been made our shield." Abu Bakr nodded, his heart swelling with faith. In those days, he learned not only courage, but certainty that Allah's promise never fails. Meanwhile, help reached them quietly. Abdullah, the young son of Abu Bakr, crept to the cave under the cover of night. By day, he mingled with Quraysh, listening to their plans, their movements, their boasts. At night, he carried that news to the cave, his voice a lifeline in the darkness. Their provisions came from Asma, Abu Bakr's daughter. Brave and resourceful, she tied food with the strap of her waistband, earning the title, the one with 2 belts. She risked discovery with every step, yet her loyalty never wavered. Even a cruel slap from Abu Jahl could not silence her. She returned to her family with pride, knowing she had served Allah's cause. Then there was Amir ibn Fuhira, Abu Bakr's freed servant. By day, he grazed sheep near the mountain. By evening, he drove the flock past the cave, their hooves erasing tracks, their milk sustaining the 2 hidden men. Thus, Allah surrounded his messenger with protectors, not mighty armies, but simple, faithful souls who carried out their tasks with quiet devotion. For 3 nights, the cave sheltered them. The prophet spent those hours in prayer, his voice soft, his heart lifted to the Lord of the worlds. Abu Bakr sat near him, half guard, half student, learning that true reliance is not in swords or numbers, but in the decree of Allah. On the 3rd night, the desert sky stretched, vast and quiet, stars glittering like lanterns across its dark canopy. The time had come to leave the cave. Quraysh had scoured the land in vain, and though their fury remained, Allah had decreed a new chapter, the journey toward Yathrib, soon to be called Medina or Munawwara, the radiant city, a trusted guide. Abdullah ibn Urayqat, skilled navigator though not yet a Muslim, was chosen to lead them by hidden routes. With him came two camels, prepared by Abu Bakr. Asma had tied provisions with her torn waistband. Amir ibn Fuhira ensured the paths behind were erased. All was ready. Before dawn, the Prophet and Abu Bakr stepped out of the cave. Abu Bakr cast one last glance at the mountain that had shielded them, his heart swelling with gratitude. The Prophet, calm and steady, mounted his camel. "In the name of Allah," he whispered, and their journey began. They did not take the usual road northward. Instead, they moved south, then west, weaving through barren valleys, rocky plains, and hidden passes. By day, they traveled quietly, often seeking shelter from the burning sun. By night, they pressed on, their guide leading them through the maze of desert trails. But Quraysh's reward of 100 camels had stirred greed across Arabia. Men roamed in every direction, eyes sharp, hearts hungry. Among them was Suraka ibn Malik, a horseman of the Kanana tribe. News reached him that fugitives had been spotted along the coast. The promise of wealth glittered before him, and he rode out swiftly, his spear gleaming, his horse thundering across the sand. Dust rose behind him as he drew closer. Abu Bakr turned, his face pale. "O Messenger of Allah," he whispered, "they are upon us." The Prophet did not falter. With calm assurance, he lifted his hands and prayed. Abu Bakr watched anxiously as Suraka closed the distance, determination burning in his eyes. But suddenly, the earth beneath Suraka's horse trembled. Its legs sank into the sand, burying it to its knees. The horse neighed wildly, struggling to rise. Dust flew as Suraka lashed it forward, his spear shaking in his hand. At last, with great effort, the horse broke free, and Suraka charged again. Yet once more, the desert swallowed its hooves. Sand clung like chains, dragging the beast down. Fear crept into Suraka's heart. He dismounted, sweat dripping, eyes wide. He had never seen the desert behave so. He realized this was no ordinary man. He pursued. "Spare me, O Muhammad," he cried, his voice desperate, trembling. "By Allah, I know you are protected. Grant me safety, and I will turn them away." The Prophet looked upon him with mercy. "Go, Suraka, return to your people. Let none pursue us." Humbled Suraka lowered his head, but before leaving, he asked, voice quivering, "Grant me a promise, O Messenger of Allah. If I embrace your faith one day, what shall be my reward?" The Prophet replied with words that seemed impossible to Suraka then. "You will wear the bracelets of Hijrah, the emperor of Persia." Suraka's heart pounded. Persia was the mightiest empire of the age, its treasures beyond imagination. Yet he saw in the Prophet's eyes a certainty that made him believe. He mounted his horse, turned back, and rode away not as an enemy, but as a witness to destiny. Wherever he went, Suraka misled the hunters, diverting them to other paths. Thus the pursuit weakened, and the fugitives moved onward. Their path guarded not only by miracles, but now also by the silence of a former foe. The desert stretched wide and silent as the days passed. The Prophet, Abu Bakr, and their small company pressed on under the burning sun, resting beneath scattered trees by day and moving under starlight by night. The journey tested their endurance, thirst parched their lips. The heat seared their skin, and the endless sands seemed unyielding. Yet their hearts remained steady, for each step carried them closer to Allah's promise. At last, the date palms of Yathrib appeared on the horizon. Their green crowns rose above the golden sands, a sign of life, of shelter, of new beginnings. News of the Prophet's approach had already spread. The people of Yathrib, now called the Ansar, the helpers, had long awaited him. Their hearts eager, their voices filled with anticipation. Men, women, and children lined the streets, their faces glowing with joy. Some climbed rooftops, others stood along the road, straining for the first glimpse of Allah's messenger. The air buzzed with excitement, their chants rising like music. The messenger of Allah has come. The prophet has arrived. Abu Bakr walked beside him, his heart swelling. Children ran toward them, and some mistook Abu Bakr for the prophet, for he shielded him with care. But the moment they saw the prophet's radiant face, peace and dignity shining from it, they knew. Tears flowed, smiles spread, and the city rejoiced as never before. The prophet entered Yathrib, not as a fugitive, but as a leader, welcomed with love deeper than any throne could grant. This city would soon be called Madinah al-Munawwara, the city of light. It would be the home of Islam, the cradle of a community that would change the world. That night, after the dust of celebration settled, Abu Bakr sat beside the prophet. His voice was soft, filled with wonder. "O Messenger of Allah, the cave was darkness, and I feared for our lives. But you reminded me that Allah was our third. And now, look, He has brought us to a city filled with light." The prophet placed his hand upon Abu Bakr's shoulder, his eyes reflecting the stars above. "Abu Bakr, remember this always. Those who place their trust in Allah will never be forsaken. From the cave to this city, His mercy has carried us, and it will carry our people until the last day." Abu Bakr nodded, his heart full. The lessons of the cave would never leave him. The story of the cave, the spider's web, and the bird's nest would be told for generations. A reminder that Allah's protection comes in ways beyond human strengths. It was not armies, wealth, or weapons that saved them, but faith that turned the frailest of creatures into a fortress stronger than stone. And so, from a cave of fear to a city of hope, the journey became a testament for all who seek Allah's path. When you walk with Him, you are never truly alone. Dear listener, perhaps you too have caves of fear in your life, moments where danger